So, good readers always think about the text. It's not just about reading, it's about thinking. You are being tested on your ability to think about what you are reading. Well, what does that mean to think? It means you have to solve the mystery of what the author is showing or revealing to the reader. So, this is why basic comprehension is important because you're not just understanding, you now have to analyze and you have to determine why the author is sharing, what is the author revealing. Let's take a look at an opening passage here. One thing a good reader does is preview the text. By previewing the text, By previewing the text, you can determine what the central idea is. So let's do that. Let's read the first sentence of each paragraph. But for the first paragraph, let's read all of the first paragraph. So I'm sharing a strategy with you. First thing you do, read all of the first paragraph, and then you read the first sentence of each additional paragraph. Here we go. Anya always thought she could run fast, so joining the middle school track team seemed like a great idea. She imagined she would break long held school records and possibly become the latest, greatest athletic hero of the school. First paragraph, first sentence of paragraph 2. Coach made the track team practice a lot. Paragraph 3. On the day of the meet, Anya reached into her gym bag for her track shirt and was struck with her first sinking feeling of the day. 4. At the track, she stretched briefly and then took her position. 5. And then the final blow struck just as Anya rounded the home stretch. 6. As the tightly packed runners flew past the finish line, one stood out from the rest. Let's go ahead and read all of this last paragraph. One might have had something to do with her flapping arms and high-pitched scream, but it was also because she had come in first place. Anya had won. Her dreams of becoming a track star had come true after all, but she didn't realize that until later. At that moment, she was still racing at full speed back to the safety of the school gym. Okay, so let's see what this is mostly about. Here, taking a look at the title, Anya Track Star. So we see that this is mostly about a student who is striving to become a track star. Something bad happens though, because we see right here where it says she reached into her gym bag for a shirt and was struck with her first sinking feeling. If you have a sinking feeling, it's alarm, panic, anxiety. We haven't read it yet, but we know something went wrong. Okay, so let's just go through a little to see what is it that the author is trying to show us and teach us. Anya always thought she could run fast. So since she always thought, we know that Anya has been running all of her life. Joining the middle school track team seemed like a great idea. So is she just now entering middle school, or has she been in middle school and she always wanted to join the track team? She imagined she would break long held school records and possibly become the latest, greatest athletic hero of the school. Coach made the team practice a lot, so it seems as if the coach has high expectations. But Anya believed that if you're good, you don't have to push yourself too much. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree? Why would the author share that? It seems as if the author is going to reveal to us that possibly Anya does have to work really hard. In fact, she thought over practicing might lead to fatigue and burnout. So, why is the camera, the author's focus, speaking about burnout? So, this lets me know there's going to be more details coming about over practicing and burnout. It says, so she avoided practicing in the first few weeks. I don't think this is a good idea. Do you all? I don't think it's a good idea. There's no writer who wants to share a message with a young audience that if you don't practice, it's going to turn out well. I don't. Now, we read the last paragraph, so we know Anya became a track star, but I think somewhere practice had to happen. Instead, she ran lazily around the track, saving her talents for the upcoming track meet. Lazily. On the day of the meet, Anya reached into her gym bag for her track shirt and was struck with her first sinking feeling. She had forgotten her uniform. See? So immediately she has conflict. A problem has arisen. So because she hasn't been prepared, she is immediately faced with a problem. As a result, she had no other option but to wear what she had on, her tie-dye Little Campers Day Camp t-shirt. Coach frowned as so it seems as if this girl was, oh, I want to be a track star. I'm good. I don't have to practice. I'm not and here she shows up unprepared. And the coach isn't pleased with her. Anya quickly ducked past him and hustled over to the track. But he couldn't ruin her spirit, for she knew she was on her way to breaking some big school records. The track star had arrived. Sounds really conceited, like she has a big head. I can't see this going well. At the track, she stretched briefly and then took her position. When the starting gun fired, she shot forward, kicking up her heels and lunging into each step. Well, sounds as if I might be wrong. She's off to a good start. That's when she had her second sinking feeling of the day. Oh no, so this is not going well. It took about a half a second before she found herself looking at the back of every run. Right. So, you know what the moral of this story is? The moral of this story is you have to practice. You can't blow off practice if you want to do well. I bet there's going to be a test question that has us focus on that. It took about a half a second before she found herself looking at the back of every runner in the heat. Gasping for breath, she realized too late that coach had planned those practices to prepare the team. Duh. Come on, Anya. You should have known that. She began to panic as the runners moved farther and farther ahead. So if you don't practice, you don't win. That's the message they want you all to know. I might not be saying it how it's written as a test question, but I bet that's a test question. So as you see, I am thinking through the text. We see Anya. She has a problem. Here she is thinking she knows it all and she doesn't. You see how all of this, and notice, how do I know that? Notice how immediately the camera, the author's focus, I always like to say the camera, like if you're watching a movie, the camera, look, she thought over practicing might lead to, see how it just start going there? So you have to start thinking, something's going to be up here. And then the final blow struck, hold on. As Anya rounded the home stretch, somehow a large bee had suddenly taken an unnatural interest in her ponytail. Shaking her head, she tried desperately to swat the bee away as she ran, but with no success. So she did what any sane person would do in a situation such as this. She ran faster. In fact, Anya ran so incredibly fast that she soon found herself catching up to the ground ahead of her. From somewhere in the distance, there was the sound of a roaring crowd cheering her on, but all she heard was the loud buzzing of a terrifying insect that had now switched its focus to her ear. So here she is completely distracted, and the author is really, really driving it home that for her to think she knows what to do is best instead of what the coach says to do is best. Because listen, if it says here in paragraph 2, the coach made the team practice a lot, like the coach knows what he or she's doing, but then Anya's like, nope, I'm not practicing. So obviously it's not going to go very well for Anya. And finally here, as the tightly packed runners flew past the finish line, one stood out from the rest. This might have had something to do with her flapping arms and look, did Anya win? But it was also because she had come in first place. Anya won. See, I don't know, y'all. So here she had not done everything she was supposed to do, but because of this B, all of a sudden she won. What message do you think is in there? Is that her dreams of becoming a track star had come true? So is she really a track star? She is not a track star. The author let us know in paragraph 5 that she was completely flailing out because of this B. I don't think that makes her a track star. What about you?